Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, I know that this role of being special counsel is absolutely critical to making sure that we have a role here in oversight. So for me, a lot of what you're going to be looking at is stuff that over the long haul is absolutely critical to us performing the oversight function and mission. And so I find it, rewarding and not rewarding, but I find it, a very good fit that someone has been nominated with so much Hill experience, because I think you can appreciate and understand how critical that role is to the work that this committee does, either in the permanent subcommittee on investigations or certainly just oversight in agencies. One of the questions that we've been very concerned with on this committee is the issue of whether requests from committee members, regardless of whether you sit in that chair or in any other chair, whether those requests will be fulfilled. The Office of Legal Counsel has issued an opinion. Are you both familiar with that opinion? Ms. Grady?
Yes, I am.
I am as well.
Turner? Okay.
Yes.
Obviously, we believe that the opinion, I think the opinion short-sighted and probably wrong, but the opinion does offer an opportunity to exercise some discretion. Ms. Grady, if I send you a letter and ask for information, would you respond to that letter?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Mr. Kerner?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Get that out of the way.
That was the right answer.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Yes, thank you.
Let's get to the personnel and resources at the Office of Special Counsel. I, along with the chairman, are concerned about resources and whether you have enough resources to do the important work that you need to do. Can you tell me, have you looked at the resourcing issues, and what would be your intention if you believed you needed more resources? How would you approach getting that allocation or appropriation?
Yes. So Ms. Lerner talked a lot about how she's been able to manage more with less. So there have been over 6,000 cases. That's a huge record. And yet the agency has been able to get better and better results. And the way they've done it is they have combined certain functions. They have become more efficient. So, for example, they've assigned one lawyer to 4 different functions as opposed to having 4 different people looking at it. So making those efficiencies, they've been able to utilize their resources better. I think one of the things that I would look to is there is, in the OSC Reauthorization Act, it talks about OSC has a mandate to investigate all complaints. But some of them are, on their face, not going to work. They're not in the right, they shouldn't even be at OSC. They've passed the statute of limitations. There are other obvious disqualifiers. So in the Act, there is an opportunity for OSC to dispense with those without having even to conduct an investigation and go through a lot of staffing on that. So that would be, for example, very helpful. But in terms of other things, the IT system is going to be redone at OSC. Hopefully it'll be more efficient. Hopefully the case intake is absolutely crucial, because once you determine what cases go through the process, that requires an investment of resources. So once we have...
So you clearly, is the answer, you think you're going to manage with what you've got so far, but what happens if you get there and you get, double the amount of complaints? How will you manage that?
Absolutely. So if the resources are not enough and the work has to be done, we will come to the Congress and ask for resources. And the appropriation has gone up a little bit. So to the extent that the Congress funds OSC to a greater degree, that would obviously be very helpful.
One of the concerns that I have is communication back to supervisors. How do you plan to communicate to supervisors that listening to their employees is in the best interest of their organization? In fact, might be in fact a way that they can never see your face, by actually encouraging them to listen, to reach out to employees, to actually use better management practices. What role can you play in improving that level of supervision?
Absolutely. So one thing you have to set is you have to set a tone where that challenge process is respected. You have to allow people to bring concerns through their chain to supervisors and not be punished for it. It would be ultimately very ironic if an agency whose main task is to protect whistleblowers and protect disclosures punishes its own people for disclosures.
Yeah.
So we're going to try not to do that.
Ms. Grady, obviously, personnel and recruitment is going to be a huge issue, especially if we see the level of plus-up that we're talking about. We've been doing a number of some legislation here that we think will help streamline it, but I am deeply concerned about the lack of resources on the northern border and how discouraged staff gets on the northern border when they don't get any additional help. And so as Undersecretary for Management, what strategies can you use to address recruitment, retention, and morale challenges, and how will you advocate for those internally?
If the human resources are the essential element of the department, and filling critical vacancies is absolutely an essential part of the department's success. So I would work with if confirmed, I would work with the Chief Human Capital Officer to look at what is working and what is not working to do. So based on actual data, we would be able to develop and formulate a plan to better address those gaps, those vacancies as those were to occur, and look to take advantage of the flexibilities that this committee has given to the department.
Yeah. This is a really critical issue, and we hear the same answer. I think every year that I've been on this committee, and which has been my entire term in the Senate, we talk about morale at DHS. We talk about recruitment and retention. We talk about the lack of kind of consolidated visionary mission understanding. And so, we need to quit talking about it. We need to develop strategies that actually achieve the result.
I fully agree, and I believe the department has started to make progress and will continue to make progress because instead of studying the problem, there are action plans that are resourced associated with furthering the efforts of employee engagement. And those action plans are based on analysis of data at a lower level, not looking at the department in aggregate, which significantly masks the actual problems, because you want to go after the root cause, not the symptoms.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Heitkamp.